Okay, so just to catch you up from the last video, I played a Zato player, and even though that I won, I didn't quite play the matchup correctly. Because when I'm doing these commentary videos, these commentary gameplays, I'm more focused on entertainment rather than playing the matchup legitimately. So I rematched them, and today's video we're going to give a full analysis and breakdown, showing you some of the weaknesses in my opponent's game plan and stating some of the inaccuracies that I made. And even though you know, I know everybody that watch my channel don't even probably play Leo, it is some stuff in here that can translate to your character that you could use in the matchup. It's just that if you're a Leo main, you're going to get the most out of this video. So with that being said, let's hop into it. Okay, so we got the first match. Right off the bat, you're going to notice that this is a common thing in this matchup throughout this video, is that I never take the initiative in like actually trying to approach Zato. The best thing you could do in this match is gain some distance. You want to gain some distance. You know, Zato players, they like to do one of three things. They like to do 2P, which you're just seeing him do, 2S, or jump H, because it has a lot of hit stun, more hit stun than anybody else in the game. But they do that just so they could cheese out Eddie. You want to just gain the distance. The funny thing about this matchup, you actually don't have to rush down Zato. He actually has to rush you down. You have the superior range attack with your projectile. The good thing about Leo's projectile, that it only travels 3/4 of the screen. So if he tries to use his reflect, it's not going to go all the way. And you know, my opponent caught slipping. He tries to immediately rush in and get caught with a 5H. Right here, this is where the projectile is key. It's really good in oppressing Eddie. You can also use a couple other buttons like 2K. He got me. I was impatient with my defensive stance. I should have held it down more. But yeah, he got me with it. I don't fall for that anymore in this matchup. But right here, 2K. This is good for oppressing Eddie. Kind of, you just want to play this matchup. You just want to condition your opponent to like use reflect or just trying to come into you. I'm gonna show you why later, because right now we're just trying to oppress Eddie, and you want to just play a lame game. Like, you really don't have to go to him. If you want to just keep chipping him out, you can. It's perfectly a fine game plan just to lame him out. I only go in when I know I can, like right there, or when he doesn't have a pose and I feel like I can make a difference trying to gain some distance on him. Right here, this is where 5H comes in handy at, because I threw it out and he used the pose. Now, an ordinary opponent, another character that would have did some damage, because he could have, you know, did 2H like he did. But because you could diminish the recovery frames by going to the defensive stance, you could just remain safe attacking his opposed, because he's still got to worry about the recovery frames from actually doing the attack and then try to do 2H. So he's not going to have enough time to actually punish you. That way you could just, you know, take the defensive stance and slide right on out. And this is another good thing about why defensive stance is so strong in this matchup. Zato has no lows, so he has his 2K, but it's such short range that it's almost impossible with the mobility that Leo has in his defensive stance. It's almost impossible for him to actually get close enough to actually use the 2K, because as soon as he come in that close range, it's a wrap. You just pop the defensive stance attack, and there you go. You good. There's not much he really could do about it. Especially, I'm just constantly backing up while he coming in. And this is another thing why I talk about this in my guide, why defensive stance is so good, because the attack actually has such low recovery. It catches players all the time when I just, boop, they think it's their turn to attack. No, 5H. Zato has very slow buttons, so you could just do like little funky stuff like that, trying to catch your opponent off guard. And the most important thing is, in this matchup, like I said, always back up. This is the most important range for Leo. This is the winning position for Leo. You stay outside of Eddie's lunge range. This is actually a good move on my opponent. He immediately start with the drills, but then he did reflect, which he should have did another attack. So that gave me space to, you know, pop my reflect again. He tried to lunge into me with jump H. Wasn't having it. I was actually a little too close. That's why you want to stay outside that range, so you could actually catch Eddie. My opponent did the wrong attack, but it's cool because he probably didn't expect Eddie to go past me either. Right here, I kind of went in, but I knew I was safe because I wanted him to kind of use all his Eddie bar from trying to start and attack me while he was doing his pose attack. Ooh, boy, I tell you about this. I talk about this in my guide. 2S is a good way to bait out someone's burst. Someone always delay bursting just in case you do a second or third hit. I don't know what it is, but the 2S, it always catches people. And my opponent got impatient. He did BRC because he was expecting the YRC. He was trying to do a YRC, but he didn't quite do it fast enough because I did a punch, so it wasn't that much hit stun for him to do a delayed YRC. And he got caught with the BRC, and then I grabbed him. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next match. I think I'm gonna do 2 Zato players because it's some things that my opponent didn't do that I kind of wanted to show more of. So we're gonna hop into the second match. So in this second match, I'm not going to talk too much, mainly because my opponent, he just starts. That's where the conditioning at. That's where I was talking. Nah, I say I paused it. I lied to you because let me rewind it. This is where the conditioning comes in at. I already got him conditioned to come up and start, you know, doing things. See, he blocks. I noticed that he blocked. I went straight for the cross cut because I spent all my time in the first match literally running away from him. So he was not expecting the cross cut, and that's what you want to kind of do. You want to condition your opponent kind of like just dash into the middle of the screen and just block. They'll block, and that's when the cross cut is going to actually catch the opponent. It's easier for the opponent to catch you doing cross cut if you're constantly rushing them down and be like, all right, he's going to do cross cut at some point. I'm gonna be ready. I got my finger on the grab button. So that's how you open people up with the cross cut. Tried to grab me. Everybody knows that jump BTH is throw invincible. Caught my opponent. He did a very slow button, very easy to see. I whiffed the button. He thought it was his turn to attack. Now my opponent is actually his. Got him. Yes. See, my opponent, I did meaty 236. Was it 214S? I did meaty 214S. I talked about it in my guide. It's a new setup that I've been working with. It's actually giving me a lot of opportunities to actually get out my back turn stance. But at this point, my opponent, he's just being impatient, and I think he just started cracking under the pressure. So it's why I had to show another Zato player so I could fully explain what you want to do in the matchup. He also gets steamrolled in the third match. Do I want to show it? I'm gonna just show it. Yeah, I'm gonna show it. It's more of the same stuff. My opponent, he kind of folded under the pressure. In the beginning, like the first match I played him, he actually was trying to keep me out, and then me just being patient, it kind of just turned the tide, and it turned into him trying to get in close to me. See, whiffing the 5H, going into defensive stance to cover. It catches people. Making the same mistakes. I did my close slash way too soon on that reset. Let's try it again. He blocks. So he tried to do a pose. Like I said, it was more the same thing. So we're gonna move on to the second Zato because, like I said, this Zato, he cracked under pressure. He couldn't handle like actual strategic play. So we're gonna move on to the second Zato. Okay, so we got our second opponent. I got hella bright in my room. So immediately, like I said, take a step back, just survey the area. My opponent does what I said earlier, one of three things: 2P, 2S, or jump H. Trying to fish out that 236P so they could just start oppressing you with Eddie. I've seen this, and what you want to do in this, just mash 6P. I'm being honest with you. It's no actual like timing to like trying to catch Zato because he falls at such a weird angle sometimes. So I'll just mash it. I don't give a damn. I'll mash that bitch. So immediately I do 6P into cross cut. So I could then start oppressing him with my back turn. He expected the overhead to come out. I went low. And now we're back to playing. We got a couple damage off now. We're back to playing that lane game. I played this matchup way more aggressive than I did the first Zato. For reasons, because I seen he was more of a reserve player. That's what I noticed. He was actually trying to play the matchup. So I was like, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna start once I get my opportunities to go in. I'm gonna go in. The last Zato, he didn't give me a reason to do that, so I just kind of play lane. And right now we're just doing the same game plan. Like I said, that projectile build-in meter. Just trying to cheese out Eddie by using jump H. Got him with the plus frames. So I'll say, look, he was about to get caught by the low again, but I whiffed it. And yeah, I just play this matchup way more aggressive. Your goal is eventually to try to get Zato in the corner. Well, you want to do that with any opponent. Oh, my camera died. Oh, man. Hold on. Are we there? All right, sorry about that. Yeah, my camera had died. Let's what was I? Jesus Christ, what was I saying? I hate that. Oh, I remember now. So eventually you want to just kind of migrate any opponent, like playing Leo, into the corner. It's just way more effective on Zato because he doesn't have any reversals, and his only escape options usually sometimes is YRC. And you know, all the Zato players rely on it. So it's easy to see coming sometimes, and I use that against them. So we're just gonna keep pressing him in this corner. Tried to cheese him out with the dust setup, didn't work. But I did cheese him out, catching him with a button, using PRC. He bursted to get me off of him. Went into defensive stance, covering the Eddie. Remember, I took a step back just in case he shot it out. You always want to keep an eye out for the threat of Eddie, because they kind of want to push it past you so they could just draw you in. So you just want to stay out that range. You want to hold that position whenever you're, you know, a little bit away from Zato. Get him right back in that corner. Right there, I waited for him to actually lunge Eddie because I noticed I was too close to actually punish Eddie. So I was going to hit him when he uses it. And yeah, I just suppressed him. What you want to do is just keep an eye out for all Zato's threats. You don't want to just easily give up a position and overextend your pressure and lose half your life. All right, so we're going to get into the last match. Like I said, back up. My opponent, he did something smart. He went in straight with Eddie this time. That's why I said he was adapting, and he kind of just threw the frog over my projectile, which I kept a mental note of that just in case he tried it again. And drill caught me. Now we're just playing a very patient game. Yep, he tried to back up outside of the projectile to maintain the health of Eddie, but it was no use. You see how we're just like, we're not overextending. We're playing a matchup. I'm not even backing up. My opponent has been backing up more than me, and he's losing his meter by trying to maintain this range. So I noticed this. I'm not really trying to back up too much. My opponent caught slipping, trying to rush in with a 2H. I don't know. I guess he expected me to do crosscut. That was kind of weird. You see me over there just spamming 6P. My freaking camera, man. What the hell? Bought this cool new camera, and in like 30 minutes, it like overheats and keeps cutting off. If y'all got any, like, you know, is any like anybody that's good with cameras can, you know, point me in the right direction and let me know what's going on. That'd be, you know, appreciated. All right, so had to plug in the old trusty. All right, so where was we at? All right. Now I wasn't accounting. I wasn't even you know, trying to bait this out. Like I said, I did 5H outside of the opposed area and he tried to whiff punish me. So just like following basic principles, you're just going to like cover certain options even by accident. Even by accident, you're just going to cover certain options. And because we in defensive stance, we have no hit stun. Boom. Right there, Eddie is demolished. And we threw out a projectile to keep ourselves safe. Not only did we thwart the Eddie pressure, we kept the we used the projectile off the hit of Eddie to keep ourselves safe. Projectile time. Whiffing the defensive stance into projectile. These are good strategies to throw your opponent off. You could clip Eddie with the defensive stance and immediately throw out a heavy projectile. I mean, a light projectile immediately. He tried to rush in with the frog. I'm pretty sure he tried to get in range to use his 2K. But like I said, once he hopped in that range, it's a wrap. If you hit his guard, or hit him, Eddie would disappear immediately. You ain't got to worry about it. I didn't want to deal with that mix up, so YRC used some of my meter. Got rid of Eddie. Gotta hold that this time. I don't know what I tried to do right there. I should have just held down. I might have thought like he was going to go for 236S or 236P instead, but instead he did the drills. So I probably tried to do something. I don't know. Tried to go for a reset, but he fell out of it, and that's pretty much it, man. It's pretty much how you want to play the matchup. You want to play the matchup very lame. Press Eddie with the options that you have. And defensive stance in this matchup is really, really, really strong. If you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. And like I said before, if somebody know anything about cameras, please, you know, let me know something, because I suck with technology. All right.